Hey, did you pack your snacks for the trip? You're going to want to pack for this one. Jump in, buckle up, because we're in for a ride. Welcome to Life's a Trip, and I Forgot the Map, the podcast that embraces the messy, magical ride of figuring life out. I'm Misty, your host, your fellow wanderer, and here we trade perfection for permission to grow, stumble, laugh, and start over. So grab your emotional snacks, be sure to buckle up. We're in for a ride. Let's hit the road. Welcome in, and today I'm joined by someone who is walking her own beautiful, messy, magical path and sharing it out loud. She's building a presence on YouTube, which you need to check out, and navigating her own spiritual journey with honesty, curiosity, and so much soul. I love her energy and her realness, the way she shows up, even when things don't make perfect sense. Whether you're just starting your own journey or deep in your becoming, I think you're going to feel right at home with this one. So let's welcome Akshiti. Akshiti, thank you so much for being here. I know we haven't been able to talk for a while, so how have you been?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited and so good to see you. How have I been? Actually, you know what? I've always wondered that that's such an interesting question because the maximum population on Earth usually just responds with a reflex of, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the sake of being real and messy, I'm not going to say that I'm good. I am going through the ups and downs of life since a few months, with sense of a bit more downs than ups, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to be real. We're not here to pretend that, okay, look, people have things figured out and everything is great. Things are great and some things are not great, and we should be real about that. So that would be my not so perfect answer for that question of how I have really been.
Thank you so much for that. And you know what? I like that because we have to be raw and real. If we want truth from people, if we want to live our authenticity, we have to get raw, right? Be honest. And exactly. I love that. And you know what? Like I said, congratulations on having those ups and downs and those trials and tribulations for life, because that's how we live and grow, right? Because in reality, we're not perfect. I know that you've started your own YouTube channel. How's that going?
Yeah. So regarding my YouTube channel, I am so excited about that because honestly, now it's a completely different story. It's not about this is my YouTube channel, this is my business, this is what I'm doing with my life. It becomes larger than that, right?
Yeah. You like your journey.
It becomes yeah, exactly. It now becomes about every time I make a video, I just feel that for any person who's going through this thing right now, this is going to be so beneficial.
Right?
Yes, it is still my YouTube and my business and my this and my that, but it's honestly a lot more. Yeah. And from that aspect, I would say, yeah, it is. It's going good from the sense of me sharing the message that I'm meant to share, me sharing the message that God is flowing through me, that God is channeling through me. And it's going good in the sense of me still showing up for myself and the people that I'm meant to impact, despite the ups and downs, which are more downs than ups.
Right.
Recently. Exactly. So from those aspects, I would say I'm really happy with myself. I'm really excited for wherever this goes because you never know, right, where a thing is supposed to go. That's why we say, right, we have our own plan and then God has a plan.
Yeah.
So yeah, according to that, I would say I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy about what I'm putting out there. I'm really happy about how I'm also growing in the procedure because obviously every single video you make, you grow through it. You learn something, you improve in something. And this is not always just about skill sets, you know. It's not just always about, okay, speaking skills or showing up on camera skills. It's a lot more than that. You get to know yourself deeper and deeper as you keep showing up. You get to trust yourself even when no results are showing up. I think that's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
You still get to believe in what God is channeling through you, what message God is channeling through you, even though right now it doesn't seem like it's reaching a lot. So yeah, I would say it's going pretty good.
I love that. And I was going to say that too. It's like when you're doing something like this, like we do, and I just want to give a little bit of background. Akshiti and I were with the same company called Freedom Lifestyle Creators, which we both love. We're still part of the community, but our paths have decided to take us on a different journey for more self-growth and more adventures, I would say, right?
You have a plan and then God has a plan.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your plan, God's plan, God's plan. Okay, we're going with that one. Because who knows better for you, right? So when you're on this journey and you're doing your podcast, it's like you're saying, it's much bigger than just you doing videos and trying to help people. It ends up becoming more of, in my case, it becomes more of an introspection of myself.
Mm.
Who am I? What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Because, like I've gone through a scare the past few months and I've gone through every human emotion possible. And it's really made me reevaluate what I'm doing and where I'm going. And so doing this podcast is part of that because I'm talking with other people. I'm still going to learn and grow. And I love that you're doing it too. I love that, you're on your own path. You're doing your own thing. But I love that the journey is there for you and you're being able to grow and change. But I would like to know, what does your journey look like right now?
What does my journey look like right now? Oh my God. That question. I would say the journey looks like just everything at once. You know how we sometimes expect that this phase of life will be good, this phase of life will be bad. But in reality, what ends up happening a lot of times, it's a complete journey in itself, every phase of life. It's not just this one is good and this one is bad. It's a whole, what do you call it? A full package. Every stage of life comes with a full package. So my stage also looks like a full package. And sometimes it's the beautiful mountains and the serene beaches. And sometimes it's also while you're getting to the serene beach, there's a bloody landslide.
It's true.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, to be very honest.
That's very true. And I was going to ask you what the view looks like right now. And you just kind of beautifully described that. And I love it. So was there a moment where everything kind of fell apart? But looking back, you're like, that was really the turning point of what changed things for me?
100%, 200%, 1000%. everything in everything in my reality did fall apart, actually more than once, I would say. But if we're talking about, let's say, the biggest one and the most impactful one, it's like I do talk about this on my social media quite a lot. It's when I quit my medical career. And why everything fell apart was that was the only thing I could ever see myself doing.
Yeah.
It was the only path I had ever even known, to be very honest. I come from a family where everyone is either a doctor or an engineer or a teacher, highly, highly educated with 3, 4 degrees and whatnot. And this is what everyone does.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was the only thing, especially, oh my God, security, job, like that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
These other things, these other risk taking, it's not for people like me. So that's what, in order to break such a strong identity, I had a very strong identity with that. I said this to my college friend once, and I quote, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
I said, business is the last thing I would ever want to do.
And now look at you.
So yes, everything did fall apart because from this you can see how strongly I was attached to that identity. I literally declared it that business is the last thing I would ever want to do, and God was like, okay, we're doing this. So when I quit my medical career, that was when everything fell apart because I had this tunnel vision. And we always have a tunnel vision, by the way, because we're humans. No matter how much we try, according to the possibilities in the universe and what goes on, we will always have some extent of a tunnel vision. This is what I've realized.
Yes.
It's just that you keep expanding that. So yeah, it's like I feel we always have some sort of a tunnel vision because according to everything that's present in the universe, all the possibilities, all the things, it's really like humanly a bit difficult to be aware of all of those. So previously, if I had this much tunnel vision, maybe now I do this much. But yeah, from this tunnel vision, for God to even be able to break me to even a little bit more, that destruction was required. Because that was the only thing I was aware of. You study more, more, because, excuse me, I was becoming a doctor. The studying never ends. So you study. and then you start getting some money, and then you study more, and then you get a job, and then you work 12 hours, 24 hours, or even 36 hours in that job. And that's what life is.
Yeah.
I thought that was life is. It's okay. Even if I don't completely like it, like that's what life is. What are you gonna do? You are alive now. That's what life is. It was so strong in me.
Yeah.
In order to break that, the universe had to break me.
Yep.
And I did
That's very
break.
true.
I broke completely. I remember the day it happened. I came back from the hospital. I was crying my eyes out. I felt hollow inside. I felt emotionally, physically, mentally, completely depleted. I came into my bedroom. I fell on the floor beside my bed. I broke down and I just said, I can't do this anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. And like it's so fresh in my memory even now. It's so crazy because when I say the universe had to break me, I really mean it by that word. It had to
Yeah.
break me.
Well, it has
I
to break you
completely
down.
felt
Yeah.
exactly.
It has to break you down in order to build you up new. So yeah, I get it.
Exactly. So yeah, that was that moment for me when I completely broke down. I broke apart so that I could be built back up.
And how beautiful you are and how amazing you are right now. So, and I was going to ask you how your spiritual path has shaped you right now and how you see yourself showing up in the world. I think you've already kind of described that, but
Yeah.
do you feel like you're showing up different and things are just looking differently for you now?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And this is something I don't even know where to start with this because once you are awakened, when you have your spiritual awakening, you just like everything just first it flips over
Mm-hmm.
and then everything just is different.
Yeah,
It's not an easy path. I know people like to believe that, oh my God, spirituality, okay, love and light.
that's not the way.
It's
It's not the way it goes.
it's gonna show you everything
Oh
when it
yeah,
happens. It's not just gonna show you the love and light, it's gonna show you everything. And things become even more prominent than before.
oh yeah,
You start seeing things more. I don't know how else to describe this, but man, you start seeing the truth. You just start seeing things for what they are. And it's like there's no going back anymore.
yeah.
So
That's
I
very true.
feel, this thing about, yeah, I would say the most profound change that happens that no one really prepares you for is how you're just going to see things now for
Yeah,
what they really are, how you're just going to see the truth. Maybe the things that you were probably ignoring before, it's just you won't be able to anymore. Maybe the things about yourself that you were ignoring before, you won't be able to anymore, no matter how much you try.
yeah,
Maybe something that looks so good on the outside in your environment or anything else in your life, suddenly you start seeing the truth behind that, what is behind the veil, and you can't unsee that. And you start
yeah,
feeling that there's something so wrong with you that, man, why can't I just live like a normal person, air quotes, normal person?
yeah,
You're going to have that grief at some point. It doesn't have, I don't know. For some people, maybe it happens straight away. For some people, it takes time. I don't know how, where you are in your journey, what your soul has decided to grow through in this lifetime. But this is what really no one prepares you for. There's going to be a time when you're going to really see things and there's no going back from that.
yeah.
And when you
Definitely.
start seeing things, God's going to tell you to see everything now. Because when you're seeing the truth, obviously the negative is going to be highlighted. Obviously the shadows are going to be highlighted. That's just how our human nature is. If there's something negative and there's something this much positive,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to focus more on the negative because
Yeah.
that's going to occupy our brains more. And then the
Well, that's what
challenge
we're
in front of
conditioned
you.
to. That's what we're conditioned to
Yeah,
look at. So
exactly,
it's
exactly,
all the negative. Yeah.
exactly. When you really start seeing things for what they truly are, then that's a test for you to see everything now.
Yeah.
Because
And that's when you start growing
100%,
more. Yeah.
yeah, because I can almost guarantee, I don't want to say 100% guarantee because I don't know everything in the world, but I can almost guarantee that for most people, this is what happens that when they start seeing everything for what it is, the maximum of themselves is occupied by the shadows and the negatives, and nobody tells you how to deal with that, by the way. Everyone
Yeah.
sees the negative and the shadows and they want to get rid of it. Obviously, we will want to get rid of it. That's just a normal response everyone has. This is not something that we were taught in school, how to deal with your shadows. Nobody taught you in
Oh,
school
no.
that you are supposed to sit with your shadows rather than trying to get rid of them.
Nope.
Nobody taught you in school that instead of acting out from your shadows, you have to sit with your shadows. That projecting your shadows onto someone is not what accepting means. Accepting is for you, not for projecting it onto others. This is not something that people teach us.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly have this spiritual awakening and you're completely thrown off into this new world and you don't know what the heck to do.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Yes. And I thought you knew everything. I thought, because you're so amazing, you're talented, you're intelligent. I thought you knew everything in the world. So it's nice to know you don't.
Oh my God, that could really not be the farthest from the truth.
Well, thank you so much for being human. I appreciate that.
Very much human. I'm insanely much human. I'm the most human ever.
I love that because it's so true. You were conditioned so much to be, like you said, don't talk about your shadows, don't work on them, hide them. We're taught to shut up, sit down, work, make a living, just survive, don't make waves, right? So
Yeah.
when we really start trying to live life and get out of that and really, we call it waking up because we're not in that drone mindset of work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, and don't make waves. When we start really being ourselves and being human and moving and thinking differently than other people, then there's something wrong with us. Or, woo, you're on the woo-woo path. You're too spiritual and you're too... No.
The woo-woo and the too spiritual.
The
My
woo-woo,
God.
yeah. And I'm like, that's not really what it is. We're just human beings trying to be the best humans that we can in a
Which
world.
I'm not right now, by the way.
I know,
In
right?
case you haven't noticed, the world is kind of a chaos right now.
Oh,
In
yeah.
case you haven't noticed.
In case you haven't noticed. And it's kind of getting worse. But the point is that we're doing our best in this world that tells you to stay in your lane, right? And don't make waves. When in reality, we're just trying to be ourselves and grow and change and be comfortable and happy in ourselves, right? To bring in other people. So what surprised you? What's something that surprised you about putting yourself out there online, especially as you're still figuring things out for yourself?
Yeah. And I believe the last part of your question is the best thing ever because the truth is that you'll always keep figuring it out. There's no end point to get to. There is no end point to get to.
That's
It's so
a lifelong
mind-blowing.
thing, right? It's a
Yeah,
lifelong thing,
because
yeah.
you get to one thing and then you're going to be figuring out the next one. That's just how it is because otherwise life just gets stagnant, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we are built this way that when we get to one part, there will be another part to get to. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that you don't get to enjoy this part you're at. Of course, you enjoy that and you don't even think about the next thing for a while. But after some time, the next one will come. Otherwise, your life will become stagnant.
Yeah. I don't know if you know who Bashar is. I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you know who Bashar is? Have you heard of Bashar? Okay. Well, Bashar is, and I'm just mentioning him because I don't know if I believe everything about what the whole situation with him, but a lot of things he says make sense. So Bashar is his real name. This guy's name is Daryl.
Okay.
And for past 40 years, he says he's been channeling an alien from another planet, right?
Yeah.
But this alien has given himself the name Bashar. And Bashar says that the Earth is a school. Our spirits chose to be here to learn and grow and in the human experience. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, we've been saying, life is a lesson. You're always going to change and experience new things and learn and grow. And if you're in that drone mindset, you're not growing, you're dying. You're barely surviving.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I brought that up, because if you look at the planet Earth, not because some alien told you so, but if you look at the planet Earth and your life as this is a school, I'm here to learn and change and experience new things. I think that can help change people's mindset and the way they view things.
Definitely. Yeah, that's so helpful. That's really, really good to look at it as a school. It's not a destination.
Yeah.
And your graduation is probably when you die. So you better enjoy the school journey. If you're only looking forward to the graduation day, that's just gonna be, one click of a finger and it's gonna end. So
yeah,
it would be pretty sad if that's the only thing we look forward to.
It would be. Then where would you? I just would think if it was that quick and you're you came to the end of your journey. Like, what more do you have to learn? There's nothing. There's, that's a sad thing to think of. But
Yeah,
I didn't mean to
definitely.
interrupt you, but I just thought that kind of fit because that's what it made me think of.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. And it's a really powerful switch of mindset to look at life because, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not just a few humans right now who are wondering what the heck is happening on planet Earth. What are we doing here? And who are just maybe, I don't know, sad, demotivated, frustrated, angry about life in general. I'm not talking about a particular situation of life, but just life in general. Like, what is happening? Why
Yeah,
are we here? So
exactly.
yeah, I think that's a really good switch of mindset. So yeah, I think you had asked me what surprised me the most
Yeah,
about putting myself. Yeah.
yeah,
I think the thing that surprised me the most is just how complicated we make it. And when I say that, I'm actually not talking about the video skills or the talking skills or anything like that. You keep growing with those things, it happens. You keep learning how to make better content, etc., etc. But actually, the thing I'm talking about here is that we really need to realize that whatever you're doing right now, it's because that message or that particular thing is supposed to reach some people on this earth in order to help them to reach a higher vibration, to evolve. You're a vessel. You're just like a pipe through which the water is flowing. So that's what it really changes from, it's been a few months since this switch happened for me when it's the dialogue from my business, my message, my YouTube channel, my Instagram. It is mine, don't get me wrong. But from my business, it just changed to, well, actually, this is God's message.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just a vessel.
Yeah,
The thing is, that message is going to reach the people anyway because God has to do that job, right?
yeah,
Whether or not you choose to be a vessel for it is completely up to you. So if you're choosing to be the vessel, that's great. But
yeah,
if you're not, like in the higher plan, in the higher dimension of things, in the bigger plan, that message is still going to reach. So it's your choice whether you want to be the vessel or not. Because it's not just your business or anything.
yeah,
It's not just your YouTube channel that you want to grow and you want to monetize. Yeah, you do want it to grow and you do want it to get monetized, but it becomes a lot bigger than that.
yeah. Yeah,
So
because you're
yeah,
ultimately allowing him to come into you, use you as that vessel, and to
exactly.
change you as much as he's trying to change somebody else.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
kind of like for both you and the other people as well. So yeah, I totally
Exactly.
agree
For
with that.
both. It's for the
Yeah,
evolution and the growth of both sides.
yeah,
And yeah, that's why I said that how complicated we make it. I'm not talking about the video skills and audio skills. I know those are
uh-huh.
something that we have to develop along the way. And of course, I wouldn't be doing my video like this right now. And like, I have to
I don't
know
know.
that the
Give me a
video
little
has to
while. I
be.
might.
So I'm not talking about these things to be honest, but when I say we make it complicated, I mean this concept about how we make it so complicated about, well, I don't even know if I'm doing the wrong thing or the right thing, or am I doing this right, or am I even supposed to do this? If something is flowing through you, you have to trust it.
Yeah,
If the universe is sending some message through you, you have to trust it. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be trials and stuff. It's going to take time, most probably for almost all the people that I know, it does take time. And
yeah,
anyone who claims to achieve things within 2 months or within 4 weeks, I'm pretty sure there's a lot that goes behind before those within 4 weeks and the within 2 months.
yeah. But it's like they say, success overnight.
Yeah.
That's not really success overnight. There's had to have been
A
years
success
between
overnight, which was 10
building up.
years in
Yeah,
making.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
So
go ahead.
that's what I mean when I say that we complicate it.
Yeah, I
If a
totally
message
agree
is
with that.
flowing through you, trust it. Trust where it is going, even if it's taking time, even if it's taking effort, even if you don't understand what you're doing. Ask for help. Call upon your angels or your guides or your spirit, your God, universe, whatever you want to call it, your higher self.
Yeah,
Ask for help. It is there for you. It's not an
I
easy
agree
ride.
with that.
It's definitely not an easy ride, but
Uh-uh.
like, what else are you going to do? Not follow your purpose?
Some people do. Some people don't
Yeah.
follow their purpose or they haven't
Hmm.
found it yet. And I wonder how many people out there never find their purpose
Hmm.
and never like try to expand and learn something new or follow what their path is as far as God's trying to teach them
Hmm.
something. So when you're feeling lost or stuck or like nothing's making sense, what grounds you?
Oh, that's a really good one. You know why? Because I have realized that it's not really possible to be stuck as long as you are doing your best.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who genuinely does your best, you really put your best foot forward, you focus on your inner growth, and you also take the outer physical action, you're not stuck. You're just probably in the incubation period.
I
Where
like
things don't
that.
happen to be manifesting.
I
But
like
they are
that.
going on in the background. So it's just this constant thing of I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing? I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I'm stuck. What is the solution to this problem? What should I do? I'm so stuck. That's what keeps us more stuck.
Yeah.
That's the thing that keeps us much more stuck than we actually are. Because if you truly are that kind of person that you do your best every single day, even if things are not moving forward in the physical reality, you're not stuck. You're
Yeah.
most probably someone who is not stuck. It just feels like you're stuck because you're going through this dark black tunnel. And that's just the light source at the end of it, which you will not see until you reach the end because what did I say? It's a long black tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So if that tunnel is 100 steps, on the 99th step, you're going to see the light. But does that mean that your 99th step were the steps when you were not moving forward? They were very much the steps when you were moving forward. Otherwise, you wouldn't have reached the 99. It's just
Yeah.
that you're in a long black tunnel. You're not in that kind of a tunnel where slowly and slowly the illumination gets bigger, bigger, bigger. No, you're in a tunnel which is entirely black. And with every step that you are taking, you are moving forward. It just doesn't feel that way. And it's testing. It's very testing. It's very hard. Trust me, I know that. None of this is to invalidate your pain or your frustration, to be very honest. I know it can be really testing at times when you're putting your best foot forward and seeing nothing. I know how it feels, but it's important to remind yourself of this black tunnel at this time. You're not
Yeah.
at the successive tunnel in which slowly and slowly the light moves forward. You're in the tunnel where probably for the 100 steps, it's still going to be pitch dark, but you are still moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. It's like you said, you're in the incubation period, or you could look at it as if the caterpillar's gone into the cocoon and you don't see any movement in that cocoon. You don't see what's going on in there. But when that caterpillar comes
Not at
out,
all.
it's no longer a caterpillar. It's a butterfly.
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of change in there that's gone on that you don't see. And that could be where you're at right now. So what grounds you?
Exactly.
What do you do for yourself in order to ground yourself when something like that feels like it's happening to you?
I remind myself just this much that this dialogue of I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I just witnessed that. I'm like, actually, I'm not stuck.
So
What
is
if
that
I'm not stuck?
right?
Yeah, like pause in that moment and ask yourself, what if I'm actually not even stuck and things will happen when they have to? What if what is happening right now is actually not because I'm doing something wrong? It's happening because it's a part of the procedure. Because that's the thing that we keep thinking, what am I doing wrong, man? Where am I going wrong? Why am I still so stuck? And it's important to catch yourself and be like, actually, what if I'm not even stuck? And what if I'm not doing anything wrong and it's just a matter of time? So it's about catching yourself in that moment and telling yourself that what if I'm not even stuck? And especially even for grounding, always nature is the best thing. Anywhere you see a plant or a tree, you can lie down on the grass, hug a tree, and just feel nature holding you. That's the best way to ground yourself. Do some, I don't know, like I feel being with nature is the best thing. But let's say you don't have access to nature right now. You can just close your eyes for a second and you can lie down on your bed and you can imagine or you can visualize that you are falling into Mother Earth's lap. Completely let yourself fall, completely surrender, feel that gravity on your body and completely close your eyes and feel like you're just completely surrendering and going into Mother Earth. You're completely letting her hold you.
I love that. Would you say that they could even meditate? Do you still meditate?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, with meditation, it's a really different kinds of meditations. Some meditations, they connect you to the higher realms. Other meditations help you in grounding. And it's really important to balance these two because sometimes we go too much up there and we don't ground ourselves. And then we start getting a bit jittery or something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like with meditation, it's a whole lot of spectrum. And for me, meditation is something that brings you closer to your higher guidance. It's not just about sitting and closing your eyes and meditating. That's a form of meditation. But if you don't feel like that's something that's suiting you in this phase of life, because it doesn't always, to be honest. Sometimes if you have so much energy built up inside your body and someone tells you to just calmly sit down, you won't be able to sit down. What you need at that time is movement practices. You need to play some song which preferably not with words, because with words we have conditioning, but maybe
Yeah.
play some really nice music. It can be mellow music, it can be some high vibe kind of music, anything, but preferably without words. And maybe you need to just dance and shake it off and release this so much built up energy in your body. So meditation is not only about sitting in peace and closing your eyes. It's different types of things in different phases of life that we need. I feel like everyone should really have a movement practice as well as a stillness practice, because
Yeah.
both are so important. Stillness is extremely important and movement is also extremely important. So yeah, I do both of those whenever my body tells me what to do, because it's like your needs are different in different phases of life, and sometimes even every day it's different. It's like you have to build a connection with your body, with your heart, and just ask yourself, what do I truly need at this moment?
Yeah. I like that. I never realized or thought about movement meditation because I have a lot of people and I'm like, you need to meditate. You're just too high strung. You need to get away from the negativity. And they're like, oh, I can't do that. I can't sit there that long. And that's not for me. So knowing that there's a movement meditation that they could like do to kind of help start grounding themselves and start, you know, getting into that practice, that's really
Exactly.
a good thing. Thank you for that. I can recommend some stuff for them.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you say to somebody who feels like they're late to their own life?
What an interesting choice of words there. I would ask, what exactly is the meaning of being late to your own life? What does that even mean?
I'm not sure about being late to my own life, but I know there was a point in my life where the doctor looked at me and said, okay, either you start losing weight or you're going to end up in a wheelchair for the rest of
Hmm,
your life.
hmm,
And my thought was, I don't want that. I don't want
hmm.
to sit on the sidelines and watch my life go by. I want to be an active participant in my life. So I
Yeah.
started losing more weight because I was really heavy and I'm still heavy, but I know what I need to do in order to lose this.
Hmm,
So learning all of that is a whole new story, a
hmm,
whole new day. But as far as being late to your life, I don't think I've ever thought of that. I don't know what I would say to somebody. Why would you feel like you're late to your life when you've been living it? Maybe you need to sit with yourself and reevaluate what your choices you've made and really recognize that you haven't been late. You've been living it the whole entire time. Maybe things haven't turned out the way you preferred them to. And now you can recognize that and start choosing how things are going to turn out or what
hmm.
choices you're going to make. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And what I would say to that question is you can't be linked to your own life. You can be linked to someone else's life.
Yeah.
You can be late to the expectations of life, what the expectations you have from life. You can be late to those. You can't be late to your own life, because when we say I feel like I'm falling behind, I'm behind in life. My question is, we can only be behind when we're behind someone else.
Yeah. Yourself to somebody else. Yeah. Then.
If there is no, like, just imagine you're standing in a line. If there's no one else in front of you, would the word behind hold any meaning? Would it even be a word in the dictionary? Because behind is only something that is relative to something, right? Imagine you're in an empty space where only you exist. Is it possible for you to be behind something or someone else? The
I
entire
don't think
meaning
so.
of the word, exactly, that's away.
Yeah.
So you can only be behind when you're behind something else or when you're behind someone else. So the question to ask yourself is, who are you behind? Who are you feeling behind? Is it that person who became a millionaire at 18 years old? Or is it that person who found the love of their life when they were, I don't know, 20 years old? Or is it this other person who not even 20, but maybe they found uh, their, I don't know, whatever success and stuff when they were 34, but because you're 50, so you're still feeling behind regardless of that person's age. There will always be something to compare ourselves with. There will always there will be someone who achieved something when they were younger than you. There will always be someone who achieved those things at a much faster pace than you. Let's say it took you 3 years and it took them 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And there will always be someone who did it much faster than you when they were younger than you and on a much larger scale than you.
Yeah. I think that's just the different opportunities that we're given.
Exactly. That is actually very true, because everyone comes with a very different life path. And if we keep comparing a path with someone else, it's gonna feel unfair. It's gonna feel like things don't make any sense because we don't know the other lifetimes that soul has chosen. We don't know what other lifetimes my soul has chosen. I don't know where in their soul lifetime that other person is. I don't know where in the soul lifetime my own soul is. We're just looking at this very tiny human experience, which is very less in the whole time life of the soul, by the way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, it feels unfair, and there's nothing wrong with that, to be very honest. You just have to learn to sit with that part of you who feels life is unfair instead of shutting out that part and saying, no, 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 no. First of all, recognize that that's a part and then sit with that part. Because imagine if a kindergarten child comes to you and they're like, oh, mommy, this happened, that happened, that happened. Are you straight away going to tell them the lessons? That no, no, this. Or are you going to first sit them down when the child is so jittery and feeling all these emotions? You're going to sit that child down and say, okay, let's feel these emotions. Like I've seen people have these emotions corners or the feelings corner in their kindergarten schools or something like that. So that's what you have to do with yourself also and with your parts also. So yeah, of course, it's unfair that every person is given so many different opportunities. Everyone's life looks so different. And if we only look at this human lifetime, it is gonna feel unfair. Sit with that part of you and soothe that part as if you are the mother or the father of that part, because you are. And then once you have soothed a bit, once you have calmed down a bit, then bring yourself back to accepting your own life path. Then bring yourself back to how comparison actually makes no sense, because I don't know what goes on in that other person's lives. I don't forget about the soul lifetime. I don't even know what goes on in their human lifetime. Man, how much do we know about other people? We know like
Exactly.
1%, 2% of people. Even the people we consider ourselves really close with, we probably know like 10% of their life. The people we are super, super, super close with, maybe we know 40, 50. But like, what do you know about the other person's life? Forget about the soul timeline that I was talking about. Let's talk about this lifetime itself. What do you know about it? You don't know anything. It's just that when you
Exactly.
think about all these things, it starts feeling like, oh, comparison is actually a bit of a waste of time. And I don't want to waste my time into that. Instead, I want to use this energy into channeling it into something that I truly want from my life. I'm working on my life, doing things that I love to do and living my life for once instead of looking at other people. And this happens with everyone. This is not to shame any one of you who is watching this or listening to this. Comparison is something that happens with anyone. And anyone who tells you that they've never compared themselves or never felt jealous of anyone else, they're lying.
Definitely, they're lying.
Yeah, they're probably lying, or they're probably some other species of human who are now evolving, which I'm not aware about.
Yeah, right.
But any kind of human that I know right now, everyone goes through this. The comparison and the this and the that is just, you start getting better at catching yourself. You start being more grounded in your truth rather than comparing with others. And it's a journey, okay? Don't expect yourself to be perfect.
Yeah,
You just keep getting better.
very true. So, Akshiti, is there something that you're learning to love in this whole messy middle that you're in? I can't even really say that you're in the middle because you're kind of getting started, but I want to say you're in a really good place in your life where you're expanding and growing and changing and you're trying new things. So, is there something in that that you're really learning to love?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say learning to love the messy middle is probably the most useful skill that a human being can learn, because everyone loves the excitement of starting something.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves the rewards and the results when they come, but almost nobody likes the messy middle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't blame you for that. Of course, why would we like that? But that's what I've realized. It's actually this part that shapes you as a human being. It's it's this part that shapes your whole life. It's this part that shapes who you are and what your next phase of life is going to be. Because this is the part which almost no human likes.
Mm-hmm.
And although there's nothing wrong with not liking the part, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. You're completely, excuse me. Hello, welcome to being human if you're not liking the messy middle. But this art of navigating the transition, or anything you want to call it, if you learn this, then you're not going to be scared of life anymore, you know?
Very true.
Whenever the next thing happens, you're not going to be scared of life because you have mastered this one thing that almost no human being wants to.
Yep.
So this
Very
is
true.
what like just learning to love the messy middle and keeping yourself grounded in your truth during the messy middle. That's like probably one of the most important skills that you can learn in this lifetime.
Yep, absolutely. So, are there any aha moments you'd like to share with people that they can either learn from or marinate on?
Ooh, I think there's like an endless amount of ahas in my life as of now. Listen, all these things that goes on in our head, it's completely normal, by the way, if you're having those. But at the same time, just recognize that this is not something that is helping you right now and allowed to have those. You can rather save yourself time as well as energy. You can go for it and you can get the answers anyway. We really cannot get the answers unless we start walking. And that really sucks, you know?
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna acknowledge that as well. Yeah, it sucks that you're not gonna get the answers unless you actually go out there and do the thing. But that is also just the bigger truth, and you're gonna grow so much beyond your beyond what you can even fathom right now, probably. But instead of wasting your time on whether this is the right thing or the wrong thing or the right time, or this or that, maybe just take a step forward, save yourself the time and energy. Put that time and energy that you're using to think right now, put that time and energy into doing something. And it can be a small step, a big step, like whatever kind of person you are. Honestly, everyone is very different. You can save yourself the time and energy, you can do it, and you can get the answer anyway.
Yeah, I love that. Very true.
And I also feel that, you know, if we make peace with these two things, then we're going to fail a lot of times and we're going to make mistakes. It becomes
Yeah.
easier to go ahead.
Be aware, but do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love that. This was so good. Thank you so much for being your whole messy self. You're wise, funny, and real. For being so open and honest with us. This was such a real, refreshing conversation. I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
I know someone out there listening, just felt seen or heard, or maybe even breathed a little lot easier because of your words. I'm just getting excited. I'm getting excited. My day's just getting started, so I'm getting excited.
Oh, that's nice. Mine is ending.
I know, because we're like on different. I love this because
Yeah.
we're on different parts of the world, but we're still so connected. I love it.
Yeah.
So you can find Akshiti on her YouTube channel, and I will put her link in the description below. As always, thank you for taking this trip with me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this podcast as well as Akshiti's YouTube channel to anyone you know that may need someone and company on their journey. Until next time, take the scenic route, toss the map, and be gentle with yourself. Life's a trip, and we're all in it together. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Life's a Trip. If you're figuring it out as you go, same here. Hit follow, leave a review if you're feeling generous. And remember, you don't need the whole map. You just need the next step.